listening to Art Dust, hosted by Glenda Gibson
and Donna Drouin. And today we are talking about, well, actually this is our first one, so we're doing a little bit of an intro as to who we are.
Okay, so who are you, Donna? Where are you from?
I am originally from Sussex and now I live in Leicestershire. I lived in Sussex until I basically became an adult, so until I was about 19. And I grew up in Chichester, Worthing and Haywards Heath. And so the South Downs are much part of my artwork. They're kind of part of my childhood history, and that skyline, that horizon of the South Downs, and that line they make, and the lines of the chalk and the landscape, they are very much part of my work. I'm married and I have 4 children, and my oldest now lives in Leeds.
Okay.
And so who are you, Glenda?
Well, I'm an Australian living in Leicestershire as well, in the UK. It's right in the middle of England. But I moved around a lot in Australia, 15 times by the time I was 15. So I've lived in Sydney, in Baulkham Hills, Blacktown, St Mary's, the sort of western suburbs, parts of Sydney. But I've also lived in the country near, my grandparents moved to the country, so a place called Inverell, and some villages around there, Dalungra and Bacalla, for all Aboriginal words. I lived on a property called Karoon when I was a teenager, and that's a little gallery I've been running called Karoon, and my house is called Karoon. It means watering place of birds. It's an Aboriginal word. So in England, I've been in Bexley Heath originally for a year, and then we've moved up to a beautiful English village with a river running through it and a church with a big spire in north part of Leicestershire, just a couple of miles down the road from Lincolnshire and a couple of miles down the road from Nottinghamshire on the other side. So in view of a castle, in view of a church spire. So that's where I am now. Yeah. And I'm married and have been for over 40 years. Can't remember how many. And I've had 5 children, and I've got 6 grandchildren, 3 of them in Manchester area and 3 of them in Australia. So I travel, but only to visit family at the moment.
So, Glenda, can I ask you, how does being Australian inform your art? What's the difference between, like, where is it?
I think I paint in very intense and bright colours, and I think that's partly because I'm used to a lot of light in the environment. I've learned to look with English eyes and notice the subtleties of browns and greys. But of course, it's spring at the moment, so there is lots of colour popping out, pinks and purples and things, so that's really lovely. I did a painting yesterday of my garden with all those lovely colours.
I think it's summer.
Yeah.
I think it is summer now. I don't know. I think we skipped spring this year.
Well, we've got a nice warm week, so that's really good. Yeah. So I guess I love the lovely long summers that we have here in England, but the very short and cold and dark winters have been a challenge. I'm getting better at dealing with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, Australia, there's just a lot of very big skies and things, and it's not like that here, but that's all right. It's I don't know if it affects me. I've been here over 20 years now. So and I've started painting. I really picked it up in 2006. I started then, so it's been a while, but it's been a process, as these things are.
They are.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about who you are now.
Who am I now?
Yeah. What do you do, Donna? What do you do for a living?
I am a printmaker mostly. I studied painting and printing at university, and those are my two subject areas I picked was my part of my degree, the final part of my degree. So how would I describe my work? So at the moment I am doing a series of birds with the landscape that they inhabit and their relationship to the human that lives alongside them. So I often, when I go out drawing, I notice the birds. I notice them probably more than I tend to draw very rapid short sketches outside, which started in 2019. So before 2019, I did very typical, what I'd call Christianese art. So it was crowns and people worshipping and lions and just very, but I hadn't really, I realized that wasn't really my voice and it wasn't really true to who I was. There was a kind of that moment where I went to an exhibition at Crossings in Southall Minster. And from there, I realized that actually, that exhibition was all top flight artists, museum grade, some of them, the museum level artists. And I looked and I thought, these guys are all singing their voice. This is their voice. This isn't the voice of the church that they're singing. They are singing their voice. And it kind of made me really, really go away and really think about, well, hang on, God's made me to be me. He's not made me to be a copy of all the other people out there who do crowns and everything else and keys and things, which are all valid because that's where you start in the Bible, because that's like the first things you understand and unpack. But now my work is very much about the things I love, and that's the things that God has made me to love. He's put that inside of me. So I go out and I draw the landscape, but I draw it in the way that I notice it. So yeah, and that's where it began. In 2019 I was so terrified of drawing outside and drawing in public, and because I'd drawn in church and painted in church at conferences, but I had never painted on my own outside where people might see me. They might people might bump into me. But now I'm so used to farmers coming going, oh, what are you doing? Yeah. It's just part of my normal.
Yeah. I love that you paint outside. I do a little bit of that, not much. Yeah, so I'm now a full-time artist. I have been a teacher and a nanny, and I've led a church as well, as a lay pioneer. But all of that is a part of me, but now I'm focusing as full-time as possible on being an artist and all that entails. But yeah, you're right, an artist with God, for God, but expressing who I am and what he is in me and for me and what I see. And I feel like I'm on the edge of that. Maybe that's how you always feel as an artist, that you're on the edge of the next great thing. But I'm feeling very comfortable moving into abstract, and it's a much harder than it looks.
Yes. The temptation, there's a temptation to always draw the real thing, like,
yes.
And it's like, no, actually I'm trying to capture the feeling of the real thing.
That's right. And so sometimes if you've got something in front of you and you're just matching the colors and the shape and you're just trying to get it right, that's almost calmer and easier than going, all right, I've got this canvas and I want to get across a sensation of release or peace, and what you put on just has to come from, I don't know where it comes from. I'm still working that out. So so that's where I am. But if you look at my webpage, there's not many abstracts on there, partly because I sell them. I haven't got them anymore.
No, and you end up going,
work's gone.
I know. Yes, it's like, I need a better photograph of that. Oh, I can't. It's gone.
It's gone.
Somebody owns that one, which is lovely. Which is the whole, you want people to be really inspired and blessed by your work, but and to love it, and they they come and they go, oh, I love this piece, and they buy it, and that's great because that puts food on my table, but also you know that painting's gone to go to somebody's house and is full of prayer, and it's full of the things that you love. But yeah, it is very frustrating when you don't want to put them on the website and go, this is sold. I can't. It's gone.
That's true. Well, you do have to sell them. I mean, I'm at the point where my rack is full. If I've got to get some off there somehow, sell them or repaint them or do something with them. Anyway.
But we have an exhibition coming up. So, there is that.
What, the September one?
The September one.
There's a September one. We'll talk about that in a later podcast because it's still a little bit away. We're hoping to do one of these about once a month.
But it's not that far away. We should remind people.
You're right. So there is an exhibition coming up. Donna and I and another lady called Sharon Dad are exhibiting in Melton Mowbray, which is even more in the middle of England.
It is. It's where pork pies come from.
It is. And there's something called the Hope Centre. There's a church, a new wine church there that has a building in the middle of Melton. They can't worship there because their congregation's too big, but it's a big building and wonderful light. Really nice. So the first 3 weekends in September, Saturday, Sunday, that's where we are. But anyway, we'll give you a bit more information about that another time. What I wanted you to tell me about now, Donna, is what it is that's exciting you at the moment, what you're doing at the moment.
Well, I'm doing the bird thing, but...
What did you do yesterday?
It's been a bit warm. So printing when it's really hot is a bit like, it's dry. Oh, no. So even though you put extenders into the printer's ink, it's just so I've been printing at night, and I've been doing a lot of jelly pad printing. So I have a stack of I've been doing lots of jelly pad printing because I want to do some Qing coal work so that the jelly pad paper disappears because I print it onto wet strength tissue paper. So you're then just left with this illusion of colour and then a liner cut print on top. So you get this, you're sandwiching it. You're doing a collage. Well, it's a French term. So, but it's very thin, the tissue paper. So it's been fun to kind of print them up. And last night it was drying so fast. I was like, oh no. But I have now I think I've got enough of the colours. I had this colour scheme. I'd worked out a colour scheme beforehand from my drawings. I've gone through my drawings, these are the colours I've noticed. These are the colours I'm going to put into my artwork. So, and I've then used the shapes. I've cut out templates and stuff and then used those templates. And I've done some painting directly onto it as well. So I've got some more expressive marks that will be then printed on top of. Because that's what I've been trying to capture.
You're nearly at the end of the whole process, haven't you? But you've spent time playing with collage. You've spent time finding your shapes in your artwork. Experimenting with those shapes with your collage papers.
Yeah, and dozens of drawings with the shapes. There's pages in my sketchbook
pages and pages, and some of them are really great. And I'm going, do a painting of that, but that's not what she's about. Donna's a print maker, and different head set altogether. And which is great. But so
I do about one painting a year.
And it's a great painting. I go, do more, but she doesn't. So that's right. So I'm sort of I do the odd bit of jelly pad. I use them to make cards, which I sell. But I am not a printer. I can't get my head around it at all. So the stuff Donna's talking about is quite sophisticated, and actually it is quite sophisticated. So I'm an oil painter. I did my first oil painting with my mother when I was 9, still life, and both for my GCSEs and my A levels, or if you're in Australia, school certificate and higher school certificate. Both of my major works were in oils, actually. An oil painting, and I just love it. I love the thickness of the paint, the richness of the colour, and that it stays shiny. I quite like acrylics. When they go on, they're all wet and shiny, and then they dry and go dull, and I don't like that. I like them to be slightly shiny, not really shiny, but slightly shiny. And I get that with my oil paint. It's made me slow. I'm a fast painter, so it's made me slow down, because oil paintings take ages to dry, even with liquid and other things that help them dry more quickly. It's still a few days before they're able to be painted on again. Can, of course, do wet and wet, and I did one of those yesterday, actually. I painted my garden, oil painting, wet and wet.
Wow.
A lovely little painting of flowers. Partly because I'm avoiding getting on with the abstract that's sort of sitting in my heart, ready to go. But
Don't we all do that?
Yeah. So I'll just do this painting.
But I think we call it in our house procrastination. So like, so procrastination. We go off and do something else. Like, oh, the house be really clean.
Oh yeah, yeah. When I'm really avoiding, if I get to cleaning the oven, I'm avoiding something really big. So that's probably enough for our first podcast. But we just want to tell you about some other things that's happening. Oh, actually, I want to tell you about our friend Jay, who created the jingle for us that will be at the beginning of this and at the end. He's such a lovely man. You can find him on YouTube, Jay Aleph, and he's so musical. He's got so many different instruments, and he bought an instrument that he got to use to make this jingle. And he found a Blackbird recording, and he used it's in F sharp apparently, and he used the notes from that to create our jingle for us, a very unique jingle. So we are very grateful to Jay. So a big call out to Jay Aleph
great.
for doing
Big
that
thanks.
for us. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
We really love it. And everyone I've played to have gone, oh, that's really cool. I'm like, I know. Now it puts pressure on the podcast to be as cool as the jingle.
That is true. So yeah, call out to Jay. And also Donna and I lead something called This Beautiful Dust. It was called Christian Artists Together. We started in about 2007. But a year or so, was it 2 years ago, we felt we'd moved to a different phase in what we were doing, and we changed it to This Beautiful Dust. So This Beautiful Dust is basically Donna and I reaching out to artists, encouraging them, supporting them, and helping them in any way we can. And we do run the odd meeting a year or retreats, and we can come to your church or your art group and bring some of us and our skills and our ideas and our prayers.
And we've done that in the past.
We've done that quite a few times, and we've prophetically painted at events as well, church things as well. But this year, what we do and what we've done for quite a long time, we've gone to Rosie's, which we just love. She's on the River Hull in a massive barn conversion, which is full of so much art and colour that we just drink it all in, and we love it. And it's not far from Hornsey. We go to Hornsey as well, so we get our beach in, because being in the middle of the England, and we're miles from any beach, but we get our little sea fix in. So I'll just tell you that is it's called Flow. You will be able to find information about it on our Facebook page. So This Beautiful Dust Facebook page, and it should be pinned at the top. I don't know if Donna's done that yet, but it'll be on there. Pin it to the top. And it's in August, on the 11th and the 12th and the 13th of August. And it's so relaxed. If you just want to go and sleep the whole weekend, that's fine. If you want to paint or walk or join in with us in our sessions, which are short and fun. On Sunday, we have a little, like a church service that we lead. but you can join in or not join in. You know, it's very open. People come and go, and it's so relaxed. We bring our own food, we share it, but people are very respectful of needs, because lots of people have got needs.
Yeah, lots of people do.
It's different every year. We get different people every year.
Yeah, there's a small core. There's a small core that repeatedly come, but they don't come every year. They'll come like this year, but not next year. They'll come sort of and it's lovely. It's a really lovely crowd of people.
Yeah.
So it's always interesting.
It's definitely always interesting, and it's always such a blessing to Donna and I as well, even though we bring some message or something about.
Yeah. And I always bring my kids, and then they sit there going, when are we going to the beach? Mum, when are we going to the beach?
Can I play with Rosie's Victorian beautiful doll's house?
I know.
And keep away from the pond.
And the river.
And the river.
Yeah, so, don't go on the river. Yeah. But no, the river, it's beautiful. I mean, I love walking along the river. So like in between sessions, I go and take some time to go and walk for a walk along the river, or just sit and draw. And it's just lovely
to go
watch
up
sunset.
And watch the sunset, don't we?
Yeah,
we watch the sunset. Last year, Donna couldn't come because
I had COVID.
She had the dreadful sea.
I did.
I had to go all on my own without my security, Donna. But we drew down by the sea. Not the sea, the river. We drew by the river in the evening. It was so lovely. Yeah. So that's us, and we'll see you in podcast number 2. Bye.
Oh no! Don't forget. Don't. Kingstock Music Festival. We've supported them for the last. We've been part of the sort of the crowd since 2018. Is that right? Yeah, 2018. We went one day in 2017. We went for an evening. We said, well, it's only an hour down the road. We'll just go. So we went. And we were like, yeah. And then we messaged James and said, can we be part of the crew, please? This is us. This is what we do. And then we went and had dinner, and we sat and chatted. And he said, yep, I'll give you a spot of land and a plug.
Just so you know, Kingstock, it's piggybacking on Woodstock, because it is a music festival. Yeah. We, of course, were going as artists, and we got a grant for a marquee, which we set up, which we're selling, by the way.
Yeah, because this is the last year of Kingstock, because the family themselves have said, well, actually, they would like to do more different things. And so they've been running Kingstock for like 12 years. So that's a lot when you've got a music festival to run. But yeah, so this year it's actually at Kingstock headquarters, and not actually at Moggahanger Park. So, but we will be going and support them for the last year. I've got a special project to do. Me and my husband are very excited. We keep discussing how we're going to do this bit and how's the mechanics of that going to work. But yeah, so you'd have to come.
It's going to be amazing. That is going to be amazing. Can't wait to see that. So if you want to know more about that, you can look up Kingstock on in Facebook, online. You could go to Donna's page, probably would be better, because I forget to put things on. But it's probably in a link somewhere on Donna's page.
Yeah, it's Kingstock with a double S in the middle, because it's Kings, because they live at Kings Ripton. So it's Kingstock. So it's 2 words merged together.
2 S's. You'll find
2 S's. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, can we go now?
We can go now. I can't think of anything else that we have to remember.
All right. Okay, so we'll see you in the next podcast.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.